What's going on, casters? Dylan from Pandito Gaming, and today we're going to be looking into a cold case mystery in Elestrals. We're going to be talking about one of the most interesting things, in my opinion, of Shattered Stars in general, and that is, where did all of the celebration packs go? Let's get into it. So, if you watched my last video explaining my very large purchase of Shattered Stars back in Black Friday of 2024, then you'll have noticed I bought 6 different sets of Shattered Stars. Now, the reason I didn't buy more is because the other sets weren't in stock. I decided I'm going to buy 50 bundles of each one because it was half price and each one were only $10 per bundle. It was an amazing deal. Had I had the opportunity to buy all 9 of them, I would have. And to be honest, I regret not buying more. That's something I have gotten used to and saying in the TCG space. Now, we won't get into that. So why didn't I buy the other 3? Why were they out of stock? Well, the easy answer for the first month, which was after, is that it was dramatically short printed compared to the other ones. There were significantly less bundles created of the Zaptor set than others. It had its own production issues. For those of you who didn't know, they did not properly randomize the packs, and so if you got bundles, you kind of knew every card that was going to be in it. Because I don't remember exactly. I think there were only 3 variations, maybe 4, of cards that you could get in a pack, and they were in the same order in the bundles every time. So if you opened the first pack, a lot of times you would know what cards would be in the other packs. Now, after the first wave of printings went out, they started randomizing things better because the manufacturer hadn't done it originally. They actually had distribution handle some of the randomization. A lot of people got a lot of the same packs with the Zaptor bundles. It was kind of messy, but Zaptor wasn't there because it just wasn't available. It had already sold out. And the other 2 sets that I wasn't able to get were the Lunar and Celebration sets. Now, it is less of a mystery to me where the lunar packs went. There was actually a seller that had hundreds of copies of these. I know who it is. It's not a mystery to me. I won't divulge their personal information or share who it is, but I have seen listings of hundreds of cards from the lunar set. I feel very confident I know where most of these cards are. The other set, Celebration, though, I have not seen these cards anywhere. They start with what are known as the Mosby spirits, the non-hollow common version of these. There was not a reverse hollow or hollow variant of these. It's the only spirits from Shattered Stars 1 that didn't have those. It has the Halloween Necrof line, one of my favorites. Necrof looks a little bit weird. The nose is a little crazy, but I think it's supposed to be more silly of an art. I think these cards, I mean, as a Necrof fan, obviously, I think these are dramatically undervalued. This Twindra art, which has picked up in popularity recently, there's been a lot of people buying these. Gloombat was extremely popular and playable when it first came out as well. And then you have one of the worst lineups of hollow rares ever printed in any set ever of any trading card game, because roughly half of them were reserved for Circle of the Sky variants. Now, interestingly enough, those cards have actually been doing well, and we'll look at that here in a second. But as we go through these cards, first of all, I'll show the Lunar cards. Those are actually still relatively in stock fairly well. Now, part of the problem is the TCG player has it really hard to search by months, but even the Spectaris in this set, a lot of these stained glass arts are starting to sell out. Lunar and Celebration, other than Thunder, are the rarest months to find. But as rare as Lunar hits are, the Celebrations are actually even more difficult to find. So the common spirits, the Mosby spirits, as most people call them, are largely just out of stock in most places. They are insanely hard to find. I actually had somebody ask, hey, can you help me find a Teratlus? And I asked, and only a couple people raised their hands as saying, I have a few copies that this person could potentially buy. I don't know where all of these are. it is pretty well documented that Celebration is the highest printed set of the entire SS1 era. And there is information corroborating that they lowered print runs going into Shattered Stars 2. Now, it's possible that they raised the print runs later, but there is evidence that shows, hey, this is the most populous set that was ever printed in Shattered Stars. But where are all of the spirits? I legitimately don't know. Each of these only has a handful of listings. They're selling at or around $2 for each one. Um, I'm not sure why people aren't stepping up and saying, "Oh, I can get $2 for this card that was in every single pack." There were over 10,000 packs created. I don't know where these cards are. And if you look at the sales data, you can see on TCG Player in a year, only 6 of them have sold. Now, is it possible that just one person bought an insane number of these bundles and is just sitting on the cards indefinitely? Possibly. Is it possible that just everyone loves these spirits? Possibly. Fun fact, by the way, if you guys didn't know, from Shattered Stars 1, the only cards that are spirits that are listed as card type spirit is actually these Mosby spirits, and for some reason, the Leviathan from the Water Buff. I don't know why. TCG Player is dumb. Obviously, not the Elestrals team's fault, but TCG Player does what TCG Player does. It's kind of like the live stream of marketplace websites, if you get that inside joke. But looking at some of the other cards, the Posthumous right now is selling for over $7. It's selling consistently, especially as this card is becoming more relevant. People are starting to buy this, and like I said, stained glass cards are starting to pick up in popularity. As you can see here, there's over 103 copies sold in the last year. Now, a big chunk of that came when people were listing it for under a quarter. Because come on, guys, like, why are you listing this card for under a quarter? Like I said, it's there's some crazy sellers out there. Even the Poison Nectar card, which is just a hollow variant of the Poison Nectar, is selling at $3 now. It's selling different copies of it. In the last year, it sold 70 copies. The only card from this set that seems to be doing terribly is the Helios's Chariot Ride, which has never really seen play. And again, it's only a hollow variant. There's, a pretty decent number of listings here. It looks like probably somewhere around 30 of these are posted. It has sold 50 copies in the last year, but it's the only one really not taking a lot of value with it. I think one of the good places we can go to look for hints is the Stellar Registry. So as you can see from the Stellar Registry for the Celebrations cards, there were 2 X of 99s and 2 X of 10s. We had almost 70% of the Wasp Ivies and Flamemoths registered, and 7 out of 10 of the Majesties and 8 out of 10 of the Imperials. That implies to me that the vast majority of these packs were opened, especially accounting for all of the people who wouldn't have registered their Stellars. We're probably talking around 75+% of these packs have already been opened. Now, clicking into some of these and seeing who registered some of them, you can see some of the most common people out here have registered a few of these. A Drive has a few. Round Trip Trading, I know, has a whole bunch in here as well. But for the most part, most of these are just very well spread out between a bunch of different people. The Wasp Ivy doesn't give us like a specific person having taken most of these. Same here on the Flamemoth. There's a very big breadth of people who have registered this card. It's hard to really tell. I don't think there was a single person who bought all of these, but it's really hard to know. I think this did just get spread out. Now, why are people not listing these is a completely different question, though. Maybe there's people out there who have these cards who could be listing them and making money from it, helping inject some more of these back into the market. I have had a lot of people reach out about these. Even the Circle the Sky cards are hitting $4 or $5 a piece. I think there's maybe 1 or 2 variants that are still under $1. But for the most part, I have had people actually reach out and buy these. These have been collecting dust in the back of my 4 row for Shattered Stars 1 for over a year now from where I bought the original. I got 33 bundles of the original set, and it's just been sitting there forever. But these cards are actually starting to sell consistently now. So I'm curious. Maybe one of the listeners out there is the person who bought all of these, or there's a bunch of people who bought them. I don't know where they went. There's tens of thousands. There's a 10,000 cards that are completely unaccounted for, and I'm just curious. Maybe you guys know. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think happened to these cards. Maybe the Elestrals team bought them all and gave them out to people. Maybe Dan was secretly hunting for another stellar that he didn't share with anybody. Maybe they're just sitting in a closet somewhere, or maybe somebody's making a 3 year play to try to pump the values for these long term. I don't know. I don't have very many left myself. I have some of the commons, but most of my holo rares at this point are pretty much gone. I probably have maybe 15 or 20 total holo rare cards from this set. So, not trying to pump any bags or anything that I have. I'm just legitimately curious. It's a very interesting mystery, and maybe we'll be able to work together and figure out where all these packs went. But that's all I got for you today. Appreciate y'all.